Hey, what's up, MythGuardians? Cool Cat here, and today we're going to be going over a more concept-based video. It's not going to be necessarily about a deck, so I'm going to be using a deck that I've already covered. I'm going to be using the Red-Orange Stairway deck to cover this concept, and many of you may have seen, but LaserGician actually uploaded a video recently. It's basically a pretty basic guide to tempo in MythGuard. I'm going to link that down in the description below. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend checking it out. There's a lot of good information there. But what I'm going to do in this video is kind of zoom in a little bit and focus on a very important part of tempo in these attacker chooses type games like MythGuard. And I'm going to look at initiative, which is a very extremely important part of tempo in these games. It essentially boils down to, on the very basic level, who gets to attack. And with MythGuard, as I'm sure you know, we have Summoning Sickness, which means when you play a minion, it's not going to be able to attack until your next turn unless that minion has keyword like Rush, or unless you have something like Volition or a Caravan to give that minion a standard action. So I have a replay all picked out here. I'm going to go ahead and go over this replay and go over the different initiative swings. It's a very swingy game with a lot of different initiative swings, and I think it's a very good replay to use for this lesson. As some of you may have seen, I do have a giveaway going on right now. I had originally announced the end date of Wednesday, the 18th of December, but I'm going to go ahead and extend that out to Friday. I'm going to make a little announcement in this video that giveaway is going to be over on Friday. I'm going to link it in the description below. Feel free to enter if you haven't yet. And this giveaway, there's going to be 3 winners. So 2 winners are going to be receiving 5-pack codes. So they're just codes for 5 MythGuard packs. And then the grand prize winner is going to be receiving 10 MythGuard packs and a mouse pad provided by Inked Gaming, my affiliate sponsor. They have a lot of very great gaming accessories like dice bags. They have deck boxes, card sleeves. They have mouse pads, of course, like they're donating to my giveaway. But check them out. I'll link them down below. As always, use code CoolCatMG for 10% off of your order there with the holiday season. If you have any gifts that you need to get some gamer friends, check them out. They have a lot of really great stuff. But let's go ahead and hop into this lesson. We'll go over initiative and see exactly what we can learn. All right, so this replay we are up against Talune, and I'm going to pause a lot during this replay. So we do have the we start off with the initiative. We go first, which means we get to place the first minion, which means we get to attack first with that first minion. The only 1-cost minion with Rush in the game is going to be Racer and Shadow. That card does not give you initiative because that banishes itself at the end of the turn, so it's essentially just out for the turn that you play it. So looking at the hand, the play is pretty obvious. We're going to burn an orange and play a recruit. So let's go ahead and burn an orange and play a recruit. We're going to play it on the left-hand side. We're going to be taking a more aggressive approach to this matchup. And they are playing a tricolor deck. It's orange, blue, and purple. It's a really interesting list. I had a lot of fun playing against it. So they missed their turn 1 drop. So that gives us a lot of initiative because we now get to play another minion, which is going to give us 2 attacks on their board with no minions. We're going to drop the Xertian Recruit. We're going to go ahead and swing with our Recruit. So we have 2 minions down. They have no minions down. We have all the initiative in the world. It's going to take quite a bit for them to catch up. So let's see what they have in store for us. All right, so they're going to double. They're going to match our Xertian Recruiter with their own. And again, we do still have the initiative because we get to attack first. We're going to burn a red and then play this trapezist right in the middle so that we can keep that pressure on with our initiative in place. We could play this this recruit right here. I want to save it for the Shopworn Bull so that I can cycle that for some additional value. And one thing that I do to keep initiative right here is I'm not going to swing with this recruiter. If I swing with this recruiter, what that's going to do is make these 2 recruiters 2 1s, and then what they can do with that is trade the recruiters off and then play another minion in that spot, which is going to give them initiative on the right hand side of the board. So if I don't swing with the recruiter, that's going to either force them to equal my stalemate and not swing as well, or swing into it, which is going to give me initiative on the trade, so that I can drop a minion down right there and then have the initiative on the right and left and middle of the board. So now they're going to start burning some purple. They play the Shadvar Beast to contest the Trapezist, and they do swing that recruiter in, giving me the initiative on the right-hand side. I'm going to burn the Magmatar, swing that in, play the Shopworn Bull over to the right to cycle that token, and then I cycle that token back. I'm not going to swing with this Trapezist. For not the exact same reason, because it's not going to work out the same. That's just to save some face damage. If I swing that in, this beast gets to swing in right in the middle, smack me for 3, but that way they have to trade that off as opposed to getting that face damage in. And they drop the Red Cliffs and then play another Xertian Recruiter on top of the Red Cliffs. Well, it's the same Xertian Recruiter, but that clears off my Parsa Recruit. So that is going to give them the initiative on the left-hand side of the board. And that Red Cliffs is going to shut down all of my rush, which means this Ironbelly Wyvern is pretty much useless to me. But that is no problem at all. That's just another burn card that I have right there. So they have the initiative on the left and the middle now. They gained that with this Shadvar Beast trading into my Trapezist, and with the combo of the Red Cliffs and the Xertian Recruiter to clear off my Eager Recruit. But we do still hold that that initiative on the right-hand side of the board, so we're just going to bolster that a little bit with our Xertian Recruiter, and then we're going to infuse our Shopworn Bull to get a little bit of extra damage. They're running low on life. We're going to cycle one of our extract lives back into the board. So basically what happened is they swung the initiative on the left-hand side of the board into their favor, so I am going to use their low life total to pressure them with bolstering my initiative on the right-hand side of the board. So they essentially have to answer that, or else they're just going to die in a couple of turns. So what they do here, they're going to impel on over and trade off that recruiter, and they're going to try to start contesting this initiative on the right-hand side. But I top deck the Magmatar, which is going to clear off both of those Shadvar Beasts, and then I'm going to go ahead and burn the Wyvern because I'm not too worried about the rush. And a 3-mana 3/2 isn't that great. And then I'm going to shuffle that Wyvern I drew back into my deck because, again, I don't really want rush minions at this point. And then they do play the Magnus, which deals 2 damage to all enemy minions. All of my minions had more than 2 health, so they didn't clear anything off. So that was essentially a pretty useless Magnus right there. I think what they were trying to do is just chip them down a little bit so that they had to trade in, and that would be a 2-for-1 on the minions essentially. But what they didn't realize, I guess, is that I could just infuse on this Magmatar and swing that in, or I also have the Shadvar Beast right in my hand. And they're going to keep chipping away on the left-hand side. They clear off the Magmatar there. That's how they got that done. But they're going to keep chipping away on the left-hand side. Again, I'm not really worried about 2 damage per turn. That's perfectly fine by me. I'm going to burn the Shadvar Beast and then infuse and then play this Shadvar Beast to get that trade. And then just continue cycling. I draw the other Shopworn Bull, so I'm perfectly fine trading that one in, and I'm maintaining that initiative on the right-hand side and making them answer these minions that I'm playing, as opposed to trying to contest the left-hand side, because with the Red Cliffs, that's pretty much going to be impossible, because they're just going to keep chipping away with the AoE damage on these 3 lanes each time they play a minion there. And I'm not too worried about 2 damage per turn when they're down to 10, and I was at full life when that started. But what I drew here, with this Extract Life, that's going to give me a really easy play onto this Shadvar Beast, which is going to give me an easy kill on the Raziel. And so I'm pretty much just going to try to get my mana down to 3 exactly, so that I can extract life with exact damage, so I'm not wasting any mana. And then with that infuse onto the Shadvar Beast, I'm going to be able to kill off Raziel, and I'm not going to have to worry about getting anything sneaky off there. but they play the parry to contest my Shadvahar Beast and my recruit, and they play the Thunderclap, which clears all of that off. So right now, looking in initiative-based terms, I still have it in the full right lane. They are now controlling the middle again with that Thunderclap that cleared out these 2 lanes, giving them control of the middle. And they, of course, they still have the left-hand side, which, again, I'm just going to be ignoring, I believe, for the rest of the game, if I remember correctly. But right here, it's going to be kind of hard to get that initiative back. So what I'm going to do is keep bolstering that right-hand side. I'm going to drop to Heaven and Back over under the Bull, and I play the to Heaven and Back under the Bull so that I can try to dissuade them from killing it off. If they kill it off, it'll pop right back into my hand with some increased stats and Agile, and they do have a lower life total, so that Agile with the increased stats is going to be really scary for them. But what they do here to answer that, they have the Herald of War, which is going to kill all of the enchantments, and that's a very scary thing. They now have the full initiative over all of the board, so they can attack with a 2-3, they can attack with a 2-2, and they can attack with a 7-5. So they have the full initiative right now. They overtook the board, and it looks like a really difficult couple of turns coming up. So I'm going to drop the 7-ring ritual, which is going to pretty much just fill my board with Hellions, as I'm sure you're aware how the card works, so that it can contest these 2 minions that are already there. I'm actually going to go ahead and forfeit the right-hand side of the board. That 7/7's a little too much for me to handle, and I really just don't particularly care about it right now. It's fully chumped blocked, so I'm not too worried about it attacking or anything like that. Let's see, so their turn, they drop the Sword Saint, which is going to give them the Biting Blade, and they are pretty much just using their turn right now to flood the board as best they can. And they're going to drop that Biting Blade on the Herald of War to try to get some lifesteal going to heal back up. But with that Seal of Exile top deck, I do have a perfect lethal. This one actually took me a couple of seconds to figure out how to get all of these attacks through, but I'll go ahead and let it play out. With this Seal of Exile, I'm going to seal the Braggy, trade off into the 2-3, the 2-1, kill that 2-2, and I have exactly 10 damage coming in. So we'll go ahead and let that play out. But yeah, that is going to be my lesson there on initiative in Mythgard. It's a very important concept for a lot of the mid-range decks, and since Mythgard is a very minion-based game in general, it's going to be very important to keep that initiative as best you can throughout the game. If they have any swings, make sure you're able to swing it back so that you can close out the games. There are a couple of decks that don't particularly care about initiative. I'm looking mostly at YG, yellow-green Volition. You basically just control the board and don't let them get as many attacks through, and then just play a big guy and then swing him to face a couple of times to end the game. So you don't really care about initiative when you have concepts like Rush or Volition, because those give you that initiative right back. And so that is the little lesson there. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let me know what you learned, if I messed anything up, or if you have any additional suggestions. Give the video a like if you thought it was helpful. Make sure you do subscribe for more Mythgard content. I'm looking to, increase my level of overall just game theory in the game of Mythgard. I'm pretty much just running out of deck ideas, so I don't really have any other things, for me to make videos on. If you have any suggestions for any videos you want me to cover, let me know in the comments below as well. But as always, like the video, subscribe for more Mythgard content, and GG for Matt.